quick question for David. Obviously, you know, you've been out of the sport for a while. Is this something that you consider to be a one-off, or is this something that you could see continuing into kind of like a second wind for your career?
To be brutally honest, this whole thing was a one-off. This whole thing, in my mind, was 5 weeks of training. Because when I train, I go chips in with my training. My nutrition's on point. My, you know, everything's, you know, I don't leave any stone unturned. And it takes, you know, I've cancelled, you know, my family are in Marbella on a family holiday. I was supposed to be there with them now, but I've put my family holiday vacation on hold because that wouldn't allow me to prepare as best as I can do for this bout. So I know every session I've done, it's been an improvement on the prior session, and I can feel myself continually improving in a way which I haven't felt this fresh for a long time. My legs have never felt this fast. You know, my timing seems like it's, you know, it's as, you know, feels like the good old days. Maybe that's because I've had a lot of time out. Maybe because I haven't punched for so long. You know, you remember the injuries that I have had in the past. Instead of just doing the rehabilitation for instance, when I snapped my Achilles tendon during my first fight with Tony Bellew, I didn't just do the rehabilitation for my Achilles. I had to start training for not only when the doctor said it would take 6 months for it to be healed. I'd scheduled a fight for 6 months after that point. So I'd have to do my training whilst healing. And there's never been a time in my life where I've been able to just stop hardcore training and just do the type of training that keeps me healthy, that keeps me supple, that keeps me strong. And if there was ever a time to, you know, when you see me in the ring, when you see the way I move, when you see how I feel, I think, you know, there's definitely going to be people who will say, well, okay, why can't you continue boxing? Why can't you continue at the top level? Although this fight isn't, you know, a world title fight, it's me preparing and getting in the ring at the Staples Center under the lights. You know, it's a big occasion. It's a huge occasion. You know, even if I wasn't fighting on the show, I'd be paying to watch the show. The show is going to be a fantastic event. And I'm a big event fighter, always have done. And it's really got the juices flowing. So maybe depending on how I can't go by the training camp, because the training camp prior to Tony Bellew's, my last 2 fights felt good. And I felt very confident that I was going to win the fight and move on to a world title fight. It didn't happen. So I'm not going to make any unnecessary predictions that, yes, I'm going to make a comeback. No, I feel better than I have done in training. But when that first bell rings, I'm aware anything can happen. So I'm just going to focus on Joe Fournier, on performing the best I can. And depending on how that goes, I'll then make some future plans. But at the moment, I'm not thinking past, you know, September 11th.
Similar question for Joe. Final question from me. Joe, obviously you had a break in your career for a number of years. Do you see this fight as a penultimate to bigger and better things moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm also 38, so only a couple of years younger than David. And I feel like this is my time now. I've really put a consistent 2 years back into training full time. And I beat David in this fight, and I dominate like I think I will and I can. I think that the next fights for me will be big fights because, you know, historically people say, well, you know, you pick and choose your fighters, or they don't have great records or whatnot. But you can't doubt David's pedigree and heritage, and I'm going up 2 weight divisions, you know, so I've made it as hard as I could possibly make it, you know, besides a direct unification world title against, you know, Dimitri Bivol or Anthony Joshua or someone like that. So I've found the hardest fight I could take, and I've taken it. Off the back of that, I believe when people see my performance, if people see the level that I'm performing at, they will understand that I'm ready for the big fights now and ready to fight for titles again.
Hello, Jose Matos from Critical Condition Sports. My first question is for David. David, has your preparation been different heading into this fight from your previous boxing bouts?
Yes, it very much has been. Usually I'd take probably 12 to 15 weeks preparation for a 12-round contest, and that's just what I've done. The fact that this was sprung on me with 5 weeks preparation, it's allowed me to have a shorter preparation time, and strangely, that seemed to have worked for me to jump straight in. Normally, I do a bit of strength phase. I've been doing a lot of heavy lifting, then I'll turn it to power, then speed. So I don't have that luxury of time, which means I've just got to fast track everything. And by fast tracking everything, it feels like I've leapfrogged 6 to 8 weeks. I was fortunately in decent shape. It's not like, a lot of fighters need to lose sometimes 10, 15 pounds of that good life living weights that they accumulate, after a boxing match. But as I've said from the start, I
don't be a hater.
Yeah, no, Joe, I'd like to consider myself a healthier liver than Joe. And talking of liver, my liver is pretty clean versus Joe. He's in the nightlife industry, owns restaurants and pubs and bars and beach clubs. So there's a lot of alcohol consumption in his daily routine, not as much in mine. And I think because I've lived a clean lifestyle since post-retirement, so that it allows me to, when it's time to start training, I can go straight into it. I can start running, I can start lifting, I can start punching at a good speed.
Dude, you're like RoboCop. You've been put together like 45 times.
Yeah, I've had
your liver. You probably have a steel liver. How do you get through security with all the screws in you, man?
Yes, I have had some reconstructive surgery over the years, but it's all healed up. It's all locked in now. Other than struggling to go through metal detectors, the meat that's laid over the top of the wired together structure is rock solid, unfortunately, for your good self.
Jose, did you have another question?
Yes. Now, my next question is for Joe. Joe, what is your goal in boxing?
Is to show in this fight that I belong in the ring with some really high-level fighters. Like I say, shock the world. And then move on to a real fight at my, at any division, really. If I can go from light heavyweight and perform at heavyweight, why not stay there? Go back down to cruiser or light heavy. I'm really open-minded, but I got to get through this challenge first, because if I don't get through this challenge, the rest is history. So I'm really laser-focused right now, but I know I can compete at this level. And I know the media doesn't necessarily always believe that, but then they haven't seen me behind closed doors. I've only can beat who's in front of me at the end of the day. And I made a point to put one of the best ever in the history of boxing in front of me. And so now we're going to see. And like I said, it's not like he's 40 and I'm 25. He's 40 and I'm 38. There's 18 months age gap. So it's really like two guys in a similar age range really going at it. And if anyone's at disadvantage, it's me. His experience level is way above mine. I'm giving away 25 pounds. I'm giving away 4 inches, So if I can compete at this level, then people will understand, okay, yeah, this wasn't just some rich dude that's bought his way into boxing, because, I understand that that's not the way boxing works. A poor guy punches a rich guy in the face is irrelevant in the boxing gym, and I've been hit in the face a lot of times. And I know that money is irrelevant in this thing. And that's why I fight for the passion, because I want the accolades to show my children one day, look, this is what daddy did. And so I've always said it, like, whether it's Reykon or David, I'm training the same, I'm fighting the same. And, I actually get more excited about the tougher bouts, but a lot of the times tougher opponents have avoided me. I called out Callum Smith. I even offered him a private jet if he fought me and buy him a house. He didn't want any of the smoke. There's a lot of people I've said, let's do this back in the day when I was competing all the time, and they will avoid me because I'm a banana peel. I lose, you lost to the billionaire boxer, you're a scrub. I win, and then next year I get catapulted up, but no one wants to take that risk. Let me go fight another guy that's in the top 10 ranking, because either way I can come back. Whereas you lose to me, your career's over, right? So I've always been pushed away and shied away because although I came from nothing, although I was a dishwasher, people see me as a rich dude, right? And they don't really allow me to express myself with the gloves on. So I always get pushed away from the big fights. And, I want to thank Triller to allowing this amazing experience for me now, because once I can prove that I belong at this stage, then it's going to be hard for other people to, turn a blind eye to me.